Amazing. All right, Ali, it's so nice to have you join me today. I've been following you for a little while, and then as soon as I connected with you, I just thought, I have to talk to you. I have to get you in front and I have to introduce you to the student community as well, because like we were just saying, Reiki and, crystal healing, there's such beautiful, I think, gateways into opening up to your intuition, your ability, psychic abilities and other sort of abilities, but also into the energetic world and all the amazing things. And it tends to be a segue, like provides a segue into so much more possibility. And the work that you do and your offerings and your courses are just phenomenal. And yeah, I just can't wait to hear a little bit more about you and also your amazing offerings and the gifts that you share with the world as well. So I might just start. I know you were just telling me that you started off with Reiki, so maybe if we can just wind back to the beginning of your story, and I guess how you got into this work. Were you always doing this work, or what led you to start doing it?
Definitely. So I've been in Australia now for 10 years, and it was as soon as I touched down, just everything started to activate. But I didn't know, I hadn't got a clue at that time, but before I moved to Australia, I was always seeing psychics. I was obsessed with UFOs and anything supernatural, anything weird. That was me. I was all over it. But I never thought that I myself was psychic. I never thought that I myself was a medium. I had seen spirits growing up, but I don't know. I didn't really put two and two together until I arrived in Australia. Now, when I arrived in Australia, I also had a gut disease that had flared up now and again over the last sort of 10 years, especially when I was in London, and I couldn't get to the root cause. No doctor was able to understand what was happening. I was just given medication to mask the symptoms. And so when I arrived here, it got pretty bad to the point where I completely put myself off of eating because of the cramps afterwards. Yeah, I was in so much pain. So I sought alternative help, and that's where I came across QHHT. And so I didn't understand what QHHT was. Never did I think that I'd become a practitioner myself, but at that time I didn't even know what quantum meant. I just thought, well, this looks cool. I definitely need to get rid of this gut disease, but also I really want to know what my connection is to the stars. Why do I feel more at home when I look up at Orion's belt? What's that connection?
Yeah.
And I was just like, why am I? I'm surrounded by friends, but I can't connect to any of them on a deeper level. It's like I'm putting on a facade where I'm, the happy one, but behind closed doors, I'm lonely and I've got no one to talk to because no one's on that same level, And so
I feel like so many people will be listening to this, including myself, just going, oh, it's like you're speaking to me.
Honestly, that's what I was like my whole life, but it really became quite ignited, I guess, when I got to Australia. And so that's when I found the QHHT, and I had my first session. Now she's become my long-term friend, Sally. I don't know if anyone's ever had a QHHT session before, but in terms of the structure, you'll go with questions that you had prepared, okay? And one of them was about my gut disease, but also about the stars and my connection to them and so forth. Now, for the first part of the session, you'll have a life review where you'll just spill the beans and all of your experiences. And they can be really quite traumatic experiences that you've not really opened up to anyone else before. So it's really important that the practitioner is able to hold that space for you to feel comfortable enough to express yourself. And she was fantastic. And then after that, you'll then move into the hypnosis where you'll review 2 or 3 lifetimes and then channeling of the higher self. Now, that's a typical session. My sessions aren't like that anymore, but that's a typical session. And during that session, during the life review, when we were shifting and clearing some old energies, that's when Sally had said to me, really triggering words, if you don't clear this trauma in the gut, which is what's causing the disease, and I didn't understand this at the time, it's going to lead to bowel cancer in your future.
Wow.
Can you imagine somebody telling you that? At first I was really defensive. In my mind, I didn't say anything, but in my mind, I was like, oh, how dare you. But afterwards, I was like, wow, that's exactly what I needed to hear, because that's it. I want it gone. I had so much trauma from my earlier life that, and this was from being bullied, from not having a safe environment to grow up in, not really having that mother-daughter relationship. So it just all piled up and had led to the disease. So yeah, in that session, I was like, well, I'm ready to let go. This is it. I'm so tired of being in that victim consciousness, and blaming everyone for my reality. So that was that. And then we moved into the hypnosis. And at that time, my ego had just put this huge wall up. I was so excited for the session, but I actually only went under for what felt like seconds, and it should have been, 1 to 2 hours. But it was just enough to set me on this journey, because I briefly see into 2 lifetimes, and my higher self came into an earlier memory from my childhood. And so I met her and I see what she looked like. And we were able to answer some questions, but Sally, the facilitator, was able to do energy work without my mind having to be involved. And that's what opened up the doors. And so during that session, I discovered that I was a starseed. I don't originate from Earth, and that's why I have this huge connection with the stars and the galactic wars, the Orion wars, and that's why I have this affinity when I look up at Orion, particularly with the Mintaka star system, I guess, because it's not even a planet anymore. But yeah, so I discovered that I had quite a few lifetimes on Earth, though, particularly with the twin flame journey. Again, I had no idea what a twin flame was, but I discovered that I was one. And that just opened up.
Ellie, can I just ask, how did that feel? Like, how did that actually feel, just having that validation and understanding that you were a starseed?
Insane. Like, I wanted to scream, off the top of a building and let everyone know I'm not from Earth. I knew it, I felt like I had a sense of belonging, because for the first, like, here, I've always longed for elsewhere. Living in London, always longed for wanting more, to be elsewhere, longed for home, but I didn't know where home was, and I still get that sometimes over here, but it's a lot more a sense of belonging now, especially with this community. And discovering that I was a starseed, it was just so heartwarming to know. And the twin flame as well, I just always knew that there was something else, so it was so confirming for me, so validating. And it was just really, really nice to know that I wasn't a weirdo for nothing.
And I can imagine finding somebody else, being Sally at the time, someone else that you could talk to about that stuff, and you could actually have a conversation, and you didn't feel like you were going to be judged or looked at strangely, or like you probably really, I can imagine you would have really felt probably seen and heard for maybe the first time.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when you're opening up about trauma as well and being validated for why you've been holding on to that and feeling a certain way. I've never been able to open up to anyone and tell them my entire story. So it was just incredible. And I know that she felt like I was a child of hers because she had this like motherly, nurturing energy. And she knew at the time that it was because we had other lifetimes together. And so that's why she's helped me on this journey. But she opened up that door, and that's when I started looking into Reiki energy healing. And that was insane. As soon as I started learning Reiki, I had these visitations, I guess, or in my meditations, I was being visited by beings. And they were giving me things, they were giving me keys, and I could never really figure out what was going on. But I was like, wow, I'm actually communicating with my people, or it just felt like I was doing the right thing for me, and but honestly,
It like
it
it starts to, it's almost like as soon as you have that attunement, you go through that process, it's like it is just opening you up to receive all this new information, I guess, information, and reconnect you to all
yeah,
these things, right? Yeah, it's like you're saying, yes, I'm ready for this stuff. Yeah.
definitely. And in my normal 9 to 5 though, and my sort of physical world, everything started falling apart as well. So it was like I'd been given the tower card, because what once worked for me no longer worked for me. You've opened up this door, you've activated your higher purpose now. You've got to start living it, and you've got to take that leap of faith. But of course I didn't. I was still very much in survival consciousness. You have this belief where you have to work really hard, you have to be in a job where you've got that security, when the next paycheck's coming in. I had to let all of that go because everything just fell apart. My relationship, my career. I was a really well-regarded recruiter, um, really reputable by my team, by my peers. I was working really well. All just fell apart. My body started to, like, my hands and my feet were itching like crazy. Now I know it's because my hands, the chakras were activating, and I was meant to be using my hands to heal and work on people. But at that time I was like, what's this? Oh, it's a noise. So I just take an antihistamine, ignore, ignore. That's what it was. And I put it off for so long, to the point where everything just fell apart all at once. And I just had to take that leap of faith, because no matter what job you go into, if your heart's not in it, you're going to be met with such resistance. And that's what was happening. I remember being on the tram heading to work and thinking, I could just stay on this. I don't want to go in. I can't. It just became so physically obvious that I just had nothing left in me anymore.
Oh,
So that's when I quit, and I just had to take that leap of faith, and bam, that's when everything started working. But it's really scary getting to that point where you just let go. But if you're here to be of service to others, the universe is going to make it happen for you.
so true. Isn't it funny? I can relate a lot to the fear of just taking that step. And for so long I kept putting off quitting my 9 to 5 job, and I would just be like, oh, I'll wait till I get this many clients, I'll wait till I do this, I'll wait till and
Yeah.
the goalpost kept moving and moving. And then it just it got to a point where I just had to face that fear, in terms of you just got to take a leap sometimes. Like it's
Mhm.
it doesn't actually matter how much you wait for that perfect moment. Like it just doesn't. Sometimes you've got to take you just got to have that courage with the fear anyway, just to take that step, right? But as soon as you open that door, I'm sure you felt the same, but like I just felt so held and supported by universe. It was like, it's okay, like we've got you, you know, this is the work that you're meant to be doing. We've got you.
Definitely, yeah, absolutely. And even at the beginning of 2020 as well, when, you know, the whole world started to go into that survival consciousness, even then I was thinking to myself, oh, you know, it comes back to haunt you, you know, like, oh, what's going to happen? But you just have to have that complete faith, you know, the universe really does have your back, you know. And I've honestly thrived. It's been incredible. And my journey with quantum healing, you know, I'm not just taking people into past lives. And that's why I've now created the iHEAL technique, because it's just opened up, you know, especially nowadays, like star seeds, they're already awakened, you know, but they're looking to really go deep, you know. And so I've got galactic guides coming through. They're activating their energy body in these psychic gifts, or they're calling in other lifetimes to come forth and help this person in their current life, you know. Or I've got past loved ones coming through. I've got angels clearing and shifting energy, and it's just incredible, which is why the technique has taken off so well, because it's not just no longer limiting people to just the past lives, but really just opening up that doorway for everything, you know.
Beautiful, to all lives, right? And
Yeah.
all realms and all lives. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Like it's so much fun as well. The other day I was speaking to a lion being from Sirius, and called Heros or Herios or something. Anyway, it was just really cool. You know, you're sitting there and you're speaking to this being through your client. I never thought I'd be doing that, you know, and it's just so much fun.
It's fun. It is a lot of, yeah, it is a lot of fun. I actually had a client yesterday just to that point, and I'm sure you know you can relate to this, but and you know people watching, even for yourselves as well, you know, when you start having healing sessions, and then as you go deeper and continue on, you start going a bit deeper every time. And
Yeah.
this particular client, she's only had a couple of sessions, and then yesterday was the first time she came out of it. She's like, that was really weird. And I was asking her, I was like, oh, tell me what you mean. What do you, and she just said, I don't know what we're, and I said, did it feel like you were on a trip? And she goes, yeah.
I love that. It still blows my mind as
Yeah.
well. Like I'm always not surprised, just I don't know, it just feels so cool. You know, it's so incredible hearing their stories. That brings me to something actually, because I found that the more people that I work on, the more that my own gifts activate as well, or develop, or I open up, you know. Yeah. And one of my most powerful gifts that I have activated is the dream state. And I have healed family rifts through my dreams, you know, to the point where this year was the first year I was able to go back to the UK, and it was just everyone was best friends, and it was incredible. But no physical work had to be done, because I'd already done it in the dream state, you know. And I was thinking, oh, I've healed you, I've healed, you know, like, oh, and I've astral traveled, you know, and I've worked on rescuing children in the astral realm. Yeah. And oh, I've unearthed, I feel like Tomb Raider here, because I've actually unearthed like ancient energies in South America. And I didn't realize it at the time, but my brother was actually in South America. So it was almost like I needed him to physically be there for me to activate the energy there, and bring light to, yeah, energies that have been buried. So much has happened in the dreams. And I've also dreamt of clients' lifetimes, past lives, before having even met them. So I dream have this really weird dream where I'm like, that's not me, that's not my energy. And then the next day, talking to the client, we go into another lifetime and it's exactly describing the dream that I had the night before. So, but again, the more people that you work on, the more that your own gifts activate as well, because when you're being of service to others, you're going to get paid, in many in different ways. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's so beautiful. And I can imagine that you're now bringing all of this stuff to your course as well, as well as just working with clients, but you're bringing it to the course and sharing with others how to activate those things too. And
Definitely. Yeah. So with the course, there's 3 different levels to the certification. It's the one certification no matter which sort of package you choose, but there's different levels of mentoring as well, and they're all one-to-one mentoring with me. And during each of those sessions, I'll be working on activating your own abilities, clearing and shifting those blocks as well, so that you're really able to go deep and take your clients where they need to go, because it's really important that your energy is open, that it's clear, that you're this huge beacon of light to enable for these beings to come in, so that you can hold the space for them to work on your clients. So yeah, the course is fantastic. I'm sure a lot of your students and clients have heard of Dolores Cannon. So she is or was my idol, and the original QHHT method was what I learned a long time ago, but I found that it was quite limiting in where it can take you, because it was only allowing you to access past lives and you'd have to follow the same script. But that was a long time ago. That was in the 90s, where it was okay. But now, with so many more star seeds awakening, it's really important that we just crack open that door and allow everyone to go where they need to go. And that's what the course offers. It helps you to open the space and to go through these different portals to help transport your client to where they need to go, and to hold that energy for those beings to come in. So it's called the iHEAL technique. It's known across the world. You can certify in it anywhere now. It's divine. It's my favorite. I've got so many students, and I actually don't even like using the word students, because I have a real thing with hierarchy, but I'm mentoring a lot of future practitioners now, and it's beautiful to see. It's really quite overwhelming.
I love, Ali, how you just brought up that idea that obviously you learned a technique which was in the 90s, and it was perfect for the time, in that timeline. And now, like you just said, so many are awakening, and we are needing something else, right? So even a lot of these ancient modalities, or previous modalities that have always served throughout time, I think that it's really important just to acknowledge that they're all great and they're fine, but there's also something really beautiful about meeting us where we're at in terms, as a collective. And it's okay for us to be changing things around. And I very much liken it to even Reiki, and I'm sure you're aware of this, but when Mikhail Sui formalized it in 1922, as soon as he taught it to other teachers, they were already revolutionizing it and changing it to suit their students that were coming through, and modifying it. And I think that it's a lot of traditional Japanese Reiki practitioners and masters will have their ideas about that, and a lot of others have another idea about it. So there's a bit of conflict within the Reiki community. And I very much agree that I think it's beautiful to honor the traditional stuff as well, and I think that it serves and it has a lot of impact, and there's a lot of importance in that, and there's a lot of sacred rituals and things like that we should honor. But I think it's also okay for us to be modifying things, and to be calling in, new, or not even just calling in, but reconnecting to energy that is coming through now. Not everything is going to stay the same throughout. And we as a collective are needing different things at different, in different timelines as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We're evolving. Well,
Yeah.
Earth is shifting. What worked one time won't work anymore. We've got second waves, third waves, fourth wave volunteers. It's not just a first wave volunteer anymore. Like we've got new energies that are coming into the earth. And it's funny what you've just said about Reiki as well, is because so I was activated through my own past life regression with golden ray consciousness and Elohim energy. So really powerful energy, and in their words, highest vibration of creation next to source. So it's got a real rhymes, it really goes. But they activated me to use their energy, and that's an energy that I use now in most of my one-on-one energy healings. I'll still call in like Reiki especially, but I'll call in other energies, like Seikim and whatever is for the client's highest good. But it really just depends on the client at the time. Some people are in need of different energies, and so it's being really flexible, being really hello honey. But
There we go. Okay, back. Yeah, everything you're saying just resonates so much with me. It's amazing. So tell me a little bit more about your course, in terms of, you mentioned that there's three levels.
mm-hmm.
You go through. Yeah, tell me about the different levels and how long they are, and what's in, I guess, what are the modules or what's included.
Yep. So I'll just, here we go. So so there's 3 levels, but what I mean by that is the certification is still the same. You're not the only difference is the level of one-on-one mentorship. So, and there's different prices to suit. So I want to make it sort of accommodating for everyone. I've named them expansion, silver, and gold package. Silver is the most popular one because it's that medium. So it's not as expensive as the gold package, but you're still getting, I think it's like 9 or 10 one-on-one mentoring sessions as well. And with that is also the energy healings and also your own past life regression as well. So I'm pretty sure in the silver, you get the full quantum healing session for free. And it's the same in the gold package as well. So yeah, it's teaching people to become quantum healers. And it's the, oh, you're on mute, Loretta, sorry. Oh, sorry. Oh, I think your daughter wants to join the session as well.
She's all good. She's very interested in all of this stuff. Future little healer.
That's it. But yeah, so with the course, it teaches you to become an iHEAL quantum healer, and the iHEAL really does represent the third eye and your intuition. The heal, the H is the hypnosis, E is the energy, A is alternate because we're accessing alternative and past lives. It's really just opening up to all those different realms. And of course, the L represents the lives as well. So, in all of our other lifetimes coming together to help us in this present life. But yeah, look, it's a fantastic course. It's a fantastic certification. It enables you to work full time in this industry, I guess, or in this world, because I've really aimed it at working with those healers that are wanting to level up, that are wanting to get to that next stage, that are really looking now to break away from the 9 to 5, not have a side job, not have to hustle, really embody their soul's purpose. And when you are working in this field, as I said, the more clients that come to you that are always guided. I've never had to advertise, by the way. Like the clients just come to me out of nowhere from all over the world. But when you're doing this, you're also activating your own gifts, because you are being of service as well. And it's, as I said, it's through becoming a quantum healer that all of my gifts have strengthened, have just opened up and activated, and I've just been able to integrate so much more energy. And that's what I want to put out there and help others to embody as well. So yeah, the course is incredible. It really teaches you how to take your client into hypnosis, how to hold the space to allow for your client to express their traumas, to go through their entire life review, you know, really being able to not be biased, not help to add to that victim consciousness, but also be that shoulder to cry on as well, be that real safe space for them. Moving them into that beautiful regression, allowing them to get really nice and relaxed. It's tailored for online and in-person sessions as well, so it's entirely up to the to you as a practitioner how you hold your sessions for your clients. But there's absolutely everything that you need, all that I use in my business, all of my tools, all of my applications, everything down from Zoom up to my payment processing. It's all been incorporated into the course for you as well. And you can complete it within 2 months, 1 to 2 months. I've purposely locked next modules for each course, which is like a week behind, because we're going to be doing any energy work as well. And it's really important that you give yourself time to allow that energy to integrate and allow the old energies to shift and clear as well. So as you are learning a certification, as you're learning this skill, you're also working on your own light body as well without even realizing. So it's honestly one of the best courses out there. And I'm not just saying that because it's, you know, it's my offering, but I honestly feel that if I can do it and I can go on this journey, then I know everyone else can as well. And it's something that I really, really believe in. It completely healed me of my gut disease. So, and that's what that's what I pass on to my students as well, is that you're not just holding space, you are clearing and shifting energy as well, disease, trauma, pain, you know, but you're also able to be that bridge to that higher consciousness and help to activate their gifts as well and bring these beings through to connect with them.
So beautiful. I wanted to loop back and ask you about your gut disease, since we began with that, and that is so great to hear. And I can imagine as well, after that moment when you were working with Sally and she said, you know, she said to you, like, you need to heal this stuff, otherwise it's going to cause cancer. I can imagine that it was probably also the first time that you felt like everything sort of made sense, because I guess the allo, you know, the traditional or the Western kind of medicine wasn't working for you, and you've been trying so many things that way. And this was the first time, I guess, that you know, that connection would have just landed, right? Like, of course,
Yeah.
the manifestation of all my trauma, like, this is my body's way of saying I've had enough, and
Yeah.
I need to let all of this go. I'm ready to let that go. So it's
Mhm.
so beautiful to hear that yeah, you just had reached that point on your journey, and subsequently were able to heal it. So amazing.
Yeah. Do you know, it was because I was ready. I
Yes.
was ready for the lesson
Yeah.
to be mastered. You know, I was ready to let it go. Had I not have been ready, it wouldn't have flared up, or I wouldn't have been guided to book in for that very first session. But it was holding me back, because that's where your intuition is. That's your divine feminine. You know, that's where you create, you birth new ideas, you know, you bring things into the world. I couldn't do any of that because of all this trauma that was holding me back. So once that had cleared, I was then able to start living my purpose, you know, and start going on that journey. And we're always going to be on that journey, you know, we're always going to be accessing higher levels of ascension as we continue. But that gut disease was, and now I know, a huge blessing, you know, because that's what opened up this door. So yeah, it's something that I pass on to everyone, because if I can get rid of it just from that intention, you know, of realizing that, oh my gosh, I have been creating this. No one else has created this. The bullies, my parents, you know, my siblings, old enemies or friends, you know, that no one else had created this trauma. I had created it. But it's very hard to tell someone that you created this reality. It's your fault, you know. But ultimately, like, there has to come a time where we take accountability for our reality, because we're the ones that have the ability to change it, to transform it. You know, no one else is going to come in and save us. Like, we are our own saviors, you know. So it's really just about taking ownership for who you are and allowing your experiences to empower you, but to also use that to help others as well on their own journey. So I hope that my story inspires people, because I know, as I said, if I can do it, anyone can do it.
Oh, Ali, it's just really inspirational, and your course it just sounds so magical. I feel like so many of my students would benefit from taking the course and doing the mentoring with you, and really taking, I can imagine, especially if they're feeling that pull towards, you know, and curiosity, like, I want to know more about this stuff. I want to know, I know that there's more out there. I want to know more about that, you know, working with other realms, and inviting different energy in, and understanding more about hypnosis and past lives, and, you know, all those sorts of things. I can just, yeah, I just imagine, like, it's such a great, course for someone to do, to really take that to the next level. And like you said, if they're, when they're ready to really take their business to that level as well,
Mm.
under your guidance, it's really amazing. It sounds just awesome. Is it, do you just offer the course online, or is it also in person? I know that you're in Melbourne, and a lot of, as are a lot of my students as well, but we've also got, you know, international and interstate students as well. So do you offer it but in, like, both opportunities?
So for the course itself, it is online, but I am in Cheltenham. So if I have any locals, I guess, that are close by, there is absolutely no reason why somebody couldn't come to me. I've got the space, you know. But it
Great.
really is, a lot of it is online, and we're doing the energy work is no different, as we know. It's all infinite anyway. But I do understand that sometimes it is nice to have that in person as well. What I will say about the course as well is, when you do certify and you start offering this to others, your guides, and really trust this, that your guides are going to bring you people that are on your level, that need your energy. So throughout the course, I always say, if you have your own signature session already, there is no reason why you couldn't blend that or incorporate it into the course as well. And your guides aren't going to bring you someone that is going to be connecting to, you know, all these different beings if you're not able to handle it. When I first started acting as a quantum healer, the majority of clients that were coming to me were needing healing, or, you know, from disease, or they were needing, yeah, I guess, just to really clear that trauma and connect to their higher selves. Whereas as I've evolved and expanded myself, the clientele has also evolved and expanded, where I'm not really working with just past lives anymore. It's also going into those different realms. So as a facilitator, don't feel overwhelmed. Like, the scripts are there. I've literally given everyone everything that you need, exactly what I do. I've got all of the scripts, the questions, everything has been covered in the course. So you're never going to be stuck for words, you know. And it really just is all about playing detective and helping guide your client through what it is that they're experiencing. And the more that they talk, the more that they open up, the more information that you have to go by as well. So it's a really easy method. It really, really is easy. But yeah, it's all just about bringing your own energy, your own offerings into the session as well.
I love it. Oh, I love it so much. And yeah, it's just been such a pleasure talking to you, Ali. It's been really
You too.
awesome. I knew that it would be.
Your energy, Loretta, honestly, I love it. So
Oh,
thank you
you too.
for having
You too. Yeah, it's really, really nice. As I said, I just felt like so, so connected to you straight away. And it's so funny because we're both in, you know, very close. We live very close near each other. So
me. How are you?
I'm in Bentley, and when I
Oh,
saw your flyer, because I go to COS quite a bit,
oh yeah.
and I was like, oh no way, yeah. So I kept seeing you drop, you know, drop into my world. So it's really beautiful.
Well, look, there's no such thing as coincidences.
Never. Yeah. All in divine time, right?
Yeah, exactly. Fully trust that as well.
And so thank you so much for making time over this Christmas crazy New Year period. But it's actually really, yeah, it's actually a really nice time to be catching up with you. Can you maybe just share your website details and how people can get in touch with you? And I'm going to put that all in the all and you know underneath the video as well in the Facebook group too.
Yeah, of course. So everybody can reach me at the website. All of the course information is on there as well, and you'll be able to book a discovery call if you're unsure as to what sort of membership or mentor package you want to choose. And that's just at www.elliegarnham.com.au. So yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh,
Beautiful.
it's a pleasure.
Beautiful place.
Amazing. All right. Well, I'll speak to you soon and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Mwah. Thank you. Bye.